Well, I'm Dani Muñoz, and this is an undisclosed location. Yeah, this is Lana Del Rey's rehearsals, and we're getting ready to do this crazy stadium run, and that should be cool.
And you're doing front of house.
I am. This is my little spaceship. It's an evolution of the same rig I've been using now for years, but it's just very. Even though it seems like it's a lot of stuff, and it is, it's a lot of power here, like DSP power and routing power and all this great stuff. But I guess the best part is that it's also very simple. I didn't really get myself into like layers and layers of like inputs get these inserts, and it's more like, to me it's more like, oh, let's just treat the groups and let's treat the master buses and only the absolutely necessary. Dude, my favorite thing ever is this. So I have two. It's like this whole rig is kind of like two of everything. That's the vibe here.
Tell me more. Why do you have two of everything?
It just ended up being that way. I feel like I'm just like one of these people that like something and say, okay, give me more of that. I know the ins and outs of the one piece, so I can make it do whatever I want. And I guess I'm getting old now and not so keen on trying so much new stuff. It's more like my tried and trues, and let me just expand on like all the possibilities, because all the gear has so many, once you find the sweet spot, then there's a few more sweet spots within the same thing. It's tried and true, it's repeatable, and consistency and all that stuff is everything. Again, I do Avenged Sevenfold. It's almost the same rig. Almost the same, plus minus a couple pieces. I mean, can be any more different. Imagine Avenged Sevenfold from Lana Del Rey. It's like, it's a very extreme, but again, it's like how versatile, all these pieces are. I gravitated towards the MBT like from the get-go. And so for example, 2 MBTs is like vocal bus, music bus. And then there is 2 of the Shelford compressors. I guess 3 of the 542s.
What are you using the Shelford compressors on and the 542s on?
Guitars and piano. It's all for groups, really. Like my approach here is like not even for like a single input. It's like all group stuff. So it's either the master bus chain over here. This is like drum stuff here, guitars, piano. So the basics is covered there. I guess bass is this one right here. I also use this on bass.
What do you like about those on bass and drums?
The tape, dude. Tape is a vibe.
Yeah,
tape is just awesome, Everything is just saturation at this point, It's just how to make everything nice and vibey. I guess the exception here is that this is for the vocal, right? Mm-hmm. The way I use it, because of how much depth I use on it, is more for a deverb effect, And the reason is because this particular artist has a lot of reverb on the records. Like, people are used to this gigantic reverbs. Like, if I didn't have a clean, like if I'm adding reverb onto like a verbed out vocal because of the bleed of the room and everything, and the PA and how lively it can become, that tends to get me into trouble real quick.
That makes perfect sense.
So yeah, it's like clean up so I can deverb so I can reverb.
What reverbs are you using over here?
Oh, the 9000 and the Bricasses. Yeah, this is all reverbs here, all effects. Mm-hmm. I love those. I used to do the Eventide pedals, and now it's like I have 8 pedals in there, so it's pretty it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice, you know what I mean?
I'd noticed you've got a RNHP sitting there behind you,
which you very generously let me get the power supply. I forgot my power supply on the A rig, so now carrying this thing in my bag, I was like, dude, and then.
Well, you're lucky I live here.
I am. I wish I didn't need it so much, man. It's I used to be one of the people making fun of people using headphone amps for the longest time. I was like, bro, yeah, headphone amps, cool. And I'm like, oh, damn. And then I heard it, I was like, oh, no way.
Why do you need it now?
Because of these guys, actually. I kind of fell in love with these, the Neumanns.
Oh, yeah.
So anything open back, man, like, close back, yeah, it definitely helps. But anything open back and with like this kind of impedance and stuff, you
gotta have some juice,
dude. It's a night and day. I mean, I've the R70Xs, the Audio Technicas, were the first time I tried with an amp, and I had those for years. Audio Technica gave me those for years, man. I had them in my shelf somewhere, barely used them because I heard them first. I was like, I'm not impressed. This doesn't speak to me, dude. I plugged them into this thing, and I'm like, these are not the same headphones. It's like completely different information. So I'm like, damn it, one more thing I have to carry. And but it's with me these my G tones, my speakers.
Tell me about the near fields that you got there.
Well, these are my little speaker company, and they're the G tones.
Your speaker company.
My speaker company. I make these myself and with Grandpa. And yeah, it's been a few years now since after the pandemic I started this little company, and I'm a true proponent of mid-range and limited bandwidth for monitoring just to get the mid-range right. Once you get that right, I feel like everything else will fall into place, especially live shows. The first thing that goes in live shows is the sub and the top end. And if you don't have a solid mid-range, because we are at the mercy of elements, especially outside. Most of the people, I mean, the percentage of people that really get the true sub experience, you know, it's not 100. It's less, way less than 100. I mean, there's way more people in the bowl than on the floor where you really, truly get the whole bandwidth, the whole cake. And then the wind comes in, bye-bye high end, top end goes. I mean, that's the thing that suffers the most. Any system out there worth its, you know, name, I guess, it's really good at high end. I mean, if you really think that's where the technology really, how can we get this top end to reach hundreds of meters and still be, you know. But then again, dude, wind is wind. That's, you know, air absorption by, like, that's not a thing. So you're left with a really, like, the mid-range, you know.
But they're also good because, like, you know, we have to send broadcast stems and stuff for streams and whatnot, and it's a good way to reference those because, you know, people in their homes aren't going to have these big high-end PAs sitting in their home. They're going to have something more closely to what those G-tones are putting out.
I mean, the most popular sound system in the world right now is the iPhone speakers, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's that, and that's a mid-range speaker. The iPhone, it's mid-range, really. Just, I guess, a little more top-end, but... So yeah, that's the process, really. I guess aside from that, I have that cedar. That's the other kind of cool piece. It's a noise reductor dynamic. It's like, it's a great complement for the 5045 because, you know, it's like they all do their own little part to get that vocal kind of like. The idea is to simulate, like, I have the artist on a boost on stage, even though that's impossible. But it's kind of like that's the goal. That's the North Star. And we're trying to get there with all these little pieces and trying to gain stage our way to glory.
And with somebody like Lana, like, vocal clarity is the most important.
I
mean, that's why everybody's there.
Whole gig, dude.
She's got such an awesome and unique voice that it's got to be right.
They are there to sing those songs. It's literally the gig.
Well, so. you're doing the good work right now. So
thank you.
You're killing it, man. Both of you too, Chris.
Trying.
Yeah, trying.
Well, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate you having me.
Anytime, Chris. Anything for you, man.
Any final words?
Drink water. Yeah, this is something I've learned very recently. You just have to drink water.
Thank you. I agree.
Coffee's water.
Yeah, no.